I would like to talk to you about institutional discrimination. Institutional discrimination is the unjust and discriminatory mistreatment against a group of individuals by the government, banks, financial institutions, public institutions such as hospitals, police forces, and schools, as well as other social entities. Institutional discrimination is common but can often go unnoticed because it's built into the structure itself. For these institutions that discriminate, it's business as usual. They were built to discriminate. It was built into their system from day one, and it is nothing outside of their normal operations for them. While they can discriminate against many groups, the African American, Hispanic, gay, Latino, and lesbians groups seem to be more at risk to be discriminated against by these institutions. In my textbook, Introduction to Sociology for Sociology 101, they use bank lending as an example of how institutional discrimination is prominent in this country. They took national samples from across the nation of different loan applicants from different races. They showed that when applicants had identical credit, even equal paying jobs, African Americans and Hispanic and Latinos were 60% more likely to be rejected. The other example the textbook gave, which I thought was quite shocking, was of healthcare and the fact of doctors giving preferential care to certain races. They did a study trying to find out why these doctors did that, and the study included doctors of all races, and most doctors, including African American and Hispanic, Latino, and other race doctors, still gave white patients, especially white males, preference and, in general, better health care. Institutional discrimination doesn't always have to be against race. It can be for your religion, your sexual orientation, your sex. Women are still highly discriminated against in this country. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is very prominent still. For every dollar that a man makes, a woman makes 77 cents. If you're an African American or a Latino woman, that number is even less. There's even a greater pay gap between them. With all the research that's been done on institutional discrimination and all the information I found available on it, I had a hard time finding information on the real reasons behind it. There's a lot of theories. Basically, everybody kind of agrees that it was built into the structure. According to an article in the Clearinghouse, it states that institutional discrimination can be linked to a negative image that was placed upon minorities long ago, and then it was built into the system based on that stereotype. Institutions in our country have great power to reward or penalize. They provide many benefits, like the hospitals and police and colleges, and they try to distribute them evenly, but it's been shown that it tends to be decided based on race, sex, religion, or your national origin. Most institutions are already set up to discriminate from within the institution. So unless there are changes coming from the inside the institutions and they want to change their policies or change their hiring criterias or do things to prevent discrimination, it's never going to change. We shouldn't be so worried about individual discrimination anymore as we should institutional on a large scale. I mean, doctors discriminating against patients because of the color of their skin can mean life or death. And I think that's something very serious that we all need to consider.